Welcome to Old Stuff Show. Ephemera has been one of the more popular topics in the videos that I've made this year. One of the problems with ephemera is that it piles up so quickly and you have more than you need. So every once in a while I put a little album together of unneeded ephemera and send it to auction. So before I do that, I thought I would give you a little look at some of the things that are going to be available at the next auction. So this is the binder that I put together, and it's just broken down into categories like sports and Batman cards, matches, matchbook, key cards, and general ephemera. If we just open up here and start to look at categories of things, looking at sports, the one big thing about sports, of course, is the age and the availability. And so when you look at a card, for example, like this one here, we're looking at a card from the 1950s. So that's very hard to find and very popular. Also, when you're looking at certain scarcity categories, in this country, CFL football is big, and to find CFL football players in cards is very difficult. So another one that I'm making available to people out there who want to complete a collection of ephemera. One thing about sports cards, companies take advantage for advertising purposes of having related sports things. In this case here we have SO, and then we have up here too Kraft, Kraft, as well as over here the Kraft dinner people, and all Kraft cards there. Jello. And these are become quite collectible and forces people to buy more. Cracker Jack right there, a little Cracker Jack card in the scarcity column. So all kinds of post cereals. Autographs are interesting but the problem with autographs is the authenticity, and so it becomes a little bit of an issue sometimes. But lots of post football cards here that aren't the easiest to find. Getting ticket stubs or unused tickets. In this case, this was a year of a strike in the NHL, and so there were tickets unused available, and something that people might find interesting. Batman, any of those kinds of collectors, Batman cards are very popular, especially the earliest ones, 1966 here. There's a few of these that are available in this book. Condition, of course, with collector cards is very important to the collector. And some people collect them in any condition just to have them until they get a better one. Matchbook covers. People, when they traveled and when people were smoking, of course, always picked up a matchbook for themselves, and these start to be very collectible if they have some interesting things on them. Maybe some of the more interesting things, and I don't have one here, would be the old gas stations that no longer exist. But there's travel ones, and there's all kinds of business ones here that are interesting. In this case, we have the whole set of birds key cards that were put out by a tea company, and so this type of thing, tea cards and tobacco cards, were put out in very, very large volume of and variety of topics. So you would get one of these or a few of these packs in tea when you bought it. Red Rose tea was a popular source, and there are booklets that were put out by the company so that you could put these in booklets. They were explained so you could learn about different kinds of birds. So lots of possibilities there. So in this case, having the whole set is pretty interesting. Also autographs, but more promo cards that had print on signatures, Hollywood-based ones especially. We have a couple here. So these are put out for promos of the movie star and often the movies that they were in. Just old snapshots. This is kind of a dorm picture of at a university. Someone making up their room and putting a fictitious picture in their bed to make it kind of funny. University days, hijinks. Anything that's Elvis, of course, is very collectible, and collector's cards. This is a patch for the Silver Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth. Patches are collectible. Maybe one of the bigger categories would be paper invoices or things that were put out for businesses with their logo on the top, very collectible. Greeting cards, whether it be New Year's or baby being born. These are from the 50s. Some of the junk journal people who are making their junk journals today like to find this kind of stuff. Lots of variety, Christmas cards, and so on. Of course, postcards, always significant, popular for people to collect in various categories. This one's railway. Railway is one of the more interesting categories for people. And stamps. Stamps are there's so many that you can't put your finger on any particular one, but generally speaking, people are looking for age and condition when they're collecting stamps. Some more Batman cards. Taking popular old radio programs and looking at some of the things that were put out, like Buck Rogers way back. This is an interesting piece of nostalgia, and as ephemera, very collectible. Also, little fun cards, birthday cards in this case. I did a video on vintage ephemera with words, phrases, and values, and you can see that the artwork is very, very interesting as well. And you look at some of the words used, like swell. You're a swell boy. Just things like that are very. Using swell as an example word. The illustrations are especially nice in those old cards. Collecting photographs, early 20th century photographs becomes a passion for some, and particularly categories like wedding pictures, young children, that type of thing, looking for just poses, clothing, jewelry, background, that type of thing. Also, advertising, airlines, for example, name changes. There's one from Delta. There's a good example of a children photograph. A lot of categories of collectibles in cards, and people look for non-sports card collectibles often, and this is an example of one that's not very common. Hockey coins, put out by Jello and by Sheriff Potato Chips. Very collectible. Cracker Jack, anything Cracker Jack. There's the cover of one of the Cracker Jack boxes that for a Cracker Jack collector is interesting. Again, some matchbook covers. Also, first aid covers are significant. This is just a metered stamp cover from a company that, for the stamp collectors, they like both the name of the company and the stamps. The metered stamps are sometimes a collectible in itself. I know one gentleman who that's all he looks for. So in this case we have the Chase Manhattan Bank on the side, and we have another U.S. company in Pittsburgh on the other side, covered up by the stamp. Here we have the Lindare Products Company, and this one the American Brass Company. Certificates like this one. This is a very interesting one. It's a copyright certificate put out by copyright people for in Canada for Robert Henry Todd, who wrote one of the versions of O Canada, but he is also a prolific songwriter, and so in this case he was getting a copyright certificate for one of his songs. This one was called Broadway Tragedy. And there's another example. Old pamphlets, booklets. This one for the Stratford Festival. This is an anniversary one for 50 years of production. Here's another one from one of the plays. An Italian straw hat. And here we have some sewing patterns. If the old ones, if they're unused, are desirable. Simplicity pattern. So this is an album that's going up for auction. Again, I have so much more similar type things. I have many of these kinds of items on my eBay site. All you have to do is go to ebay.com/USR/LONREM, LONREM, and hit open, and then go to all items, and you'll be able to bid on some of these this type of thing. Also, I'm on Instagram under Old Stuff Show, so you'll see different posts on a regular basis, and you can follow me there as well and make comments. And on YouTube, the new year 2021, we're into having our videos spaced out a little more compared to 2020, and you can see my video on the scheduling for 2021. It's listed. So appreciate your viewing these videos and especially subscribing, and that is a very helpful thing for us. So appreciate you watching today, and we'll see you the next time. Bye for now.